So welcome to this presentation looking at all the things you need to know about an MSK private practice. Now, when this title was given to me by Jack Chew on the recent Therapy Live 2021, it was one of those titles and topics where you think, oh my gosh, there's so much to cover. What potentially could I cover within a half an hour presentation? So when I stopped and thought about it, what were the key elements that both Phil and I are really passionate about helping at Elevate Your Clinic and all the businesses that we work with? What are the 6 key elements that fundamentally every business needs to know? Now, if that's a business that's turning over more than £1 million, or it's one that is just ticking along nicely with the thoughts and dreams of growing and developing, it might be that you've just started out, or it could just be that you're in the development stage where you're thinking about how to build a business and how to start a business. So the key elements we're going to talk about in this presentation actually relate to everybody and relate to all areas. So hopefully you're going to get some real good value over the next half an hour to help contribute how you're going to grow the therapy business that you want. Now, as always, I want you to take some time during this and make sure you're making some notes in the handout that I've provided. As you get ideas, and don't just keep hold of them, please feel free to write them down. As always, use the forums that are available. Now, the nice thing is the sections that we've put this out, we're going to have forums for each of the sections, so feel free to reach out and have a look at those. And areas of this which you want to explore in more detail, then go into the academy, look at the different areas, especially under the headings and the key areas we're going to talk about today, and then you can delve into more of those content. So what are the 6 key areas? Well, we're going to look at vision, we're going to look at business operations, we're going to look at business performance, and then we're going to look at leadership, team performance, and then sales and marketing. Now, there's a reason why I've put all these things in that order. And the reason's very simple, that for me, a lot of therapists spend a lot of their time, effort and energy really focusing on sales and marketing. Now, if we consider this long term, if you're looking to spend all your time, effort and energy bringing in new customers, but actually your internal processes, or you're bringing in the wrong kind of customers, or your team don't really understand what you want from the business, then unfortunately what this leads to is unhappy customers, unhappy staff, and sometimes actually the failure of a business. So it's important that when we consider all of the key aspects, that we look at these in a format that's going to give you the best chance of developing your success. Now, what's really exciting for me about being a therapist is that you actually already have the most of the skills that makes a really good therapy business owner. And the aim of this presentation is to help you to help join up some of the dots. Now, some of you may already have recognized that the skills that you've got as a therapist, you can apply very simply into a business model, and that's brilliant. It's just about learning new skills and developing and how to hone them. But for those of you that maybe are unsure about yourself, maybe lacking a bit of self-confidence around being a therapy business owner, then hopefully this presentation is just going to help join up some of those dots for you to help you find your way in the world and how you can then become the therapy business owner that you've got, using the skills that you've got, and then just find a way to hone and develop them in the right way to make a successful business. So let's start then with vision. Now, when we talk about vision in a business sense, we talk about setting a long-term idea. So what does the world look like in the end? What do we want our business to be? What do we want it to get to be? Now, if we think about us as a therapist and a practitioner, isn't this what we do all the time with our customers and our clients? You know, somebody comes in with a sore back, a sore leg, and our goal, our responsibility as a good therapist is to then take that time, effort and energy to understand what is the long-term goal, what is it they want their life to look like once we've helped solve this problem that they've got. So if we use the same principle, you know, we wouldn't start a rehabilitation journey not explaining or not understanding where we want to get a patient or a customer to. So my suggestion is, if you've got a business and you don't have a long-term strategy, then it's really important that you take the time, effort and the energy to really understand what that goal should be and what you want it to look like. Now, so for some of you, this is quite daunting, and if it is, don't worry, because Phil's actually got a great presentation on setting direction and how to help create a vision. So go and check that out after this presentation. But it's important that when we write something down and we have that vision, remember your vision can change. But it's important to write something down and give you something to aim for, because then that helps you develop a plan. Now, a business plan, again, is one of those things where unfortunately we don't see enough therapy business owners having in their organisation, in their businesses. But as a therapist, you wouldn't dream of not having a plan of how you would do step by step to get somebody where they want to be. So taking the time to apply the principle is really, really important. And again, like rehabilitation journeys, sometimes plans change, plans need to be adapted, and we need to adapt as we go along, and that's okay. But the idea is that, again, like a rehabilitation structure, having order, having an organised pathway, so that then the patient knows what they're doing, you know what they're doing, and we can see if they're on track or not. We can apply exactly into our business. So once you've set the long-term vision, we can then set some milestones and some goals within a plan to help you know how you're going to achieve to go where you go. And now that's where that's really, really important. Once you have those two things written down and something that can be shared with others, it allows you to communicate your plan with other people. Now, depending where you are in your organisation, your business, if you've got a lot of team members already, then this shared vision, this shared plan, allows everybody else to get along on the journey with you to help support you on the journey you're going to go to become even more successful. Whereas if you're starting out and it's just you in the organisation, there's other people that you still need to communicate with. It might be the bank manager, it might be the marketing person, it might even be your family friends that are supporting you through this, and your loved ones that you've got to, who are a bit worried about you. So at least if you've got these things in place, people can see that you've actually got some good structure and some good idea of where you're going to go. And again, that can just build help and trust in close relationships as much as it does with your team members and those that work around you. And then finally, when we consider vision, we've got to think about you as an individual and what it's like to be at your best. And when we consider this as a clinician, as a therapist, we know, don't we, that we perform our best, we give our clients and our customers the best care we can when internally we feel good about ourselves and we feel well. And it's exactly the same as a business owner. Unfortunately, we do see business owners that are really wrapped up looking after other people in the business. They actually forget about themselves. So just as you would do as a therapist, just as you would probably advise most of your clients and that work with you, that you're trying to make the best of them and help them take stress away from their lives, take some time to apply this same principle to you, your life, and your own business. So when we think about vision, plan, we've got this all written down, that's great. Then we've got to go to our next section, business operations. Now, these are the day-to-day things that you just do in your business. Most of you were just doing them not really thinking because it's just what you do. And then what you then have a problem is if you are going to take people in, or you do have people in your organisation and things are just taken for granted or not written down, this is where confusion or where systems and processes can actually break down. So when we think about business operations, we think about processes. Now, in rehabilitation terms, a lot of these are protocols. So if we're doing a total knee replacement or total hip replacement or rehabilitation for an ACL, there are standardized protocols that many therapists, like yourselves, will be used to following. The difference is in a business context, these are just called standard operating procedures, SOPs. So if you apply the same principle that you do as a therapist, if you were to do one of those long rehabilitation journeys, and applied the same ideology to everything that you did in your business, then you would have a system or a set of standard operating procedures and processes and protocols in your business of how you want your business to run. Now, we also know that we would do a rehabilitation process different for a knee than a hip or a shoulder. So again, there's going to be different processes and protocols that you need in your business that you need to take the time to create Now, if you don't want to create them all, sometimes you can bring external people in to do this. But the key is that you find the way that you want things to be done within your business. And this is really important if you are bringing in other people into your organization, because you want everyone doing the same things. Because when everyone does the same thing and you have a good flow and a good process, this provides great customer service. And for those of you who have not heard me before, but I solely believe that as therapists, we're in the customer experience industry or the customer service industry. So it's really important that we take this time, this energy, and when we put these processes, we make sure that they're effective and efficient, that everybody in your organization is doing the things that you want them to be done in the way that delivers great customer services to our customers. And that's the key and one of the big keys to success. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying it will need time, it will take effort, and they might develop and grow as you bring more people into your organization. These processes and these systems are going to change. And as you get some feedback from customers over little tweaks that you could make, again, all of these things are going to change, but only for the better. If you imagine that your business provides the best customer service in the locality, that is going to be what people are going to be talking about when they go out and leave your organization. And that's really what we want. The other thing to consider when we have good business operations, if we think about all the good processes and systems, and especially when we've been going through a global pandemic and we're full of PPE and all those safety measures, is once we have a good system and process, we actually create a really safe environment. Now, a safe environment is important for customers coming in, but also your own team and their own staff that are going to be working in that environment. Because that's key if we want to develop any good business, is that everyone feels safe entering your premises, developing your services, and then that will then help and grow and develop your business further. So we've got a good vision, we've got a plan, we know what we're doing, we can communicate our vision, and then we think about the day-to-day run-ins of our performance, we think about how that improves our customer service, and then we know we've got a safe environment that people want to come to and want to visit and want to work in. But then we've got to think about performance. Now, in my opinion, therapists are obsessed with functional outcomes and patient outcomes, measuring range of motions and strength testing and functional outcome scores. But then when you ask them about, well, what kind of outcomes do they apply to their own metrics in their business, there's that blank look of going, oof, I know I should do. So in a business setting, we just call these key performance indicators. So to make it less scary, these are the business outcomes that you want your business to achieve. So what benchmarks should you be hitting? What is the right range of motion for your profit margin, for example? And so it's really important that you think about this. Now, the good news for you watching this, if you're in the academy, then you will actually have access to our KPI workshop that you can go and have a look, and we can talk about our big 6 KPIs. So that can give you a little bit more input of how you set some outcomes in your business. But again, thinking about that process, you know, every time a customer comes back into our business, we're constantly doing our assessment. We're constantly testing to see where they are, how much have they improved, if they've not improved or not, if they have, or how much little, if it's a lot. So we should apply the same principles into our business, and I say we just call these the key performance indicators. Now, I've put in this presentation, the key one for me is making profit, because as a business, the aim should be to make money. Now, for those of you who are uncomfortable with money, that's okay. But if you want to reinvest into better kit, better equipment, more staff, bigger premises, because you want to help more people, then to do that, you need to make money to expand and grow and to support the local community even more. So making money is really important. It's important because you're going to be putting all this time and effort and energy into building this business, so you have to make sure there's going to be the reward at the end. And when we talk about rewards, we talk about success. You know, I know with my time being clinical full time, there's nothing better feeling than watching somebody get better. Creating successful outcomes for my clients was something that's really passionate. Now, I'm very fortunate because I get to work with loads of therapy business owners, and my passion has shifted now to helping you guys become successful and build the businesses that you want. But looking at success in your business is all based upon having good KPI frameworks so you can see how well things are going. And again, reflecting back into this whole rehabilitation journey, if things aren't becoming successful or things aren't going the way we want because we've got some key markers that we can be tracking against, it allows us to change our processes to work in the best way that we can. So we have to go plan A, plan B, or do we need to even develop a plan C? And this is all about the skills that we developed as rehab practitioners and therapists, and these are transferable that we can use now as therapy business owners. Now, when we have some really good markers in our organisation and our business that we're constantly referring back to and tracking and measuring, and especially when we're measuring success, this gives accountability. Now, hopefully you accept that during a rehabilitation journey, you're accountable to the client, the customer, just as much as they're accountable to you, because you want them to do what they want to build up their reputation and to build a thing. But it's exactly the same process in this. So what we've got to be thinking about is that when we're developing accountability in a business, it's something that we hold everybody to. And this is why we have good markers. We can hold everyone to good account and to develop going forward. So then, if we have a good vision, we set some good business operations, and then we have some good performance markers so we can measure how well we're doing, then it comes down to you as being a leader. Now, in my opinion, for many of us as therapists, this is one thing that we see an awful lot where people feel that they're not very good at this role or this task. Now, I can tell you that in my experience, some of the best leaders I've seen are therapists, because how many patients have you led? How many journeys have you taken people on to allow them to become the best they can be? You know, and these are the really key factors and the really key areas that you need to consider and think about. You know, you're already an established leader because you've led customers along the way. You've had those communications, you've had those interactions, you've dealt with uncomfortable situations, you've dealt with successful cases, you've found a way to adapt your own skills to mirror and match the other customer that you've got so that they feel that the service is all about them. So again, we start leadership with just around mindset and how you as a leader feels and how you deliver that across. Now, for any good organisation, we must consider the roles and responsibilities that we have within a business. So if I'll give you a great example of this, you know, we then create an organisational chart. Now, again, this is a great presentation that Phil's got on how to create an organisational chart, and actually a really, really good ebook to go with that. So when we think about an organisational chart, we think very businessy, corporate. But how on earth does everybody in your role, in your organisation, your business, even if it's just you, if you think about the plan and the vision, if you were going to achieve that in 5 years, how many more people would you need to know? But the only way you're going to know that is if you forecast forward what an organisational chart would look like. If you want to make X amount of money, how many therapists do you need in your team? If you've got that many therapists in the team, how many administrators do you need? Do you need a manager? Do you need a marketeer? So all of this creates an organisational chart. And each one of those roles almost has the roles and responsibilities that go with that role. So if you've not done this, this is a really key exercise that you need to be doing. So it allows everybody to understand what they're doing in the organisation so they can all work together. Now, for some people, it's going to be unfamiliar because most therapists have all different backgrounds. If they come from the NHS, if they come from sport, if they come from another private practice, they'll all do things slightly differently. So the idea is of setting good roles and responsibilities and good processes and systems is so that everybody understands what they're doing and are all working in the same way. Now, for me, then, that needs you as a leader, your support. You need to then be supporting them along this journey. And that's where coaching comes in. And again, coaching other people, it's going, oof, I feel uncomfortable. Well, let's think about, you know, me as a rehabilitation practitioner in my preferred style of therapy. How many people have I coached to do exercises? These are things that I've done on a regular basis over and over and over again. So for me, the skill of coaching is something I've been working on adapting for almost 20 years. They're just the topic and the application is slightly different. So you as a therapist who likes coaching exercises and likes giving people knowledge and information education, you already have these skills. We're just changing the topic of which you're talking about. And coaching becomes really important when we consider that if we have got people joining our organisation, or we're thinking about changing how we deliver things and the plan needs to change, then having the right skills to taking people away from current behaviours and into new behaviours, just like we have to do as a therapist, don't we? You know how many people come in with unhelpful behaviours, which probably could be leading to the reason why they've got the pain and their injury. And we have to educate them and help them go from this behaviour to this behaviour. So again, leading change is something that we should all be really good at already. It's just thinking of that, how we do that and the skills we've got, how we deliver them in a whole different context. So as a leader, this all comes down to a team. Now, we get to spend some really good conversations with some very, very good therapy business owners. And one of the things that we really understand is that they're brilliant at teaching all the clinical skills. They love sharing their clinical knowledge and all that with them. They unfortunately probably don't share the non-clinical skills as well as they should do with their team. They don't share what we would call the basic of business skills, so everybody in their private practice understands exactly what is required of a private practitioner. So again, even if you haven't got any team members you're just aspiring to take on your first person you are, make sure that you have a plan that within developing your team and creating and growing your team in the way that you would do with a clinical thing, that you then add in these other non-clinical skills. Now, the simple non-clinical skills might just be better communication. It might be how to build rapport. It might be how to deal with uncomfortable situations. All of these things are there that can be applied. And then especially if you then put that around with a very simple accountability and KPI framework, people in your organisation will actually start to really understand the full depth of the role as a private practitioner. And that's a really important thing if you want to become successful, if you want your business to develop. Now, for me, the great thing of having a business is that we have to solve problems. And I've loved that. And I think that comes from the fact that I have been a therapist, and isn't that what we do? Somebody comes in with an injury, an issue, they come in with a problem, and our job is to go through all of our assessments, use all of our experience, all of our knowledge to help them solve that problem. So you now think that you've got a team. So some of you who already got a team and organisation, of those of you that are thinking of growing and developing one, you're going to have a team of problem solvers. So use them. It's not always about, and good leadership and good team development all come down to you thinking about the team that you've got and how you can then solve problems together. And the great thing with having a team of therapists is actually these people are trained problem solvers. This is what they've spent all of their careers developing and becoming. So how you then use them in the right way is a really exciting and a really prosperous way to grow your business, but it also creates unity. And we all know that as a team, if we have good unity in a group, then everyone becomes really good team players. And a successful team is not about a group of individuals. It's about everyone working together, understanding their responsibilities and how they help and support each other. And especially if you have got ambitions and your vision is to really grow, really develop and really push your business on, the team element of this is going to be even more important. So it's really key to think about helping development with the business skills or the non-clinical skills. So use them together to help solve some problems, but then how you get them all working together as part of a team. So then finally, we now come to sales and marketing, because as you can see, we got the depth of the business right. Now we can attract everybody in because we know everything's working internally. We know the team's working together. We know our customer service is going to be delivered the way we want, and we know everyone's going to become happy. And that's what this is about. We're aiming to develop happy customers that want to return, that want to tell our friends, family, and all the people they work with how wonderful and how brilliant we are. So the first thing we need to think about sales and marketing as therapists, what is it that we sell? And it's one of those questions that I continue to ask everybody that we start to work with. What is your product? What's physiotherapy? What's sports therapy? What's osteopathy? What is it? Because if you can't articulate what it is that you do, how are you going to market this? What are you selling? You know, you want a new pair of jeans, you walk into a jean shop, you can pick your size and the jeans that you want, you walk out with your jeans. But what is your product? What is it about you? What is it about how you deliver your service that's different? Do you have a unique way of doing things? And this is the really thing that you need to narrow down and pinpoint and consolidate. Because if you don't know what you do and you don't know what you sell, how on earth do you know you're going to attract the right person into your business? Let me give you an example. So your product might be sports massage, very hands-on, very manual therapy. But if someone's then coming to you for some exercises, we're going to have a mismatch in our products. And it's vice versa. If you're all about the rehabilitation and someone's just coming in for some acupuncture and some more hands-on manual therapy, but you don't do that, you're going to have a mismatch. As you can already imagine, that's not going to create a good customer experience. It's not going to create good feedback. People aren't going to be happy with the service. So it's almost so important that you really delve and understand that what you're doing, what is your product? Because once you then start to understand the people that would want to use your product, and the easiest way to do this is just imagine somebody that you enjoy working with. Who is it in your business, in your organisation, the favourite customer that you do, what are they like? Why was it that that was a brilliant customer journey? How you delivered the service, how they wanted the service to be. So again, that allows you to understand people. Once you understand people, it helps you develop what yours your perfect customer. And then the perfect customer then helps you develop the business that you want, because everybody coming into the business is happy. So hopefully you can see that the key areas are there and the good formats are there. Now for me, for those of you that are sat here wondering, oh my gosh, what doing next? The good news for you is all of these key areas are actually the key topics within our academy. So explore these as you go, but try to consider in what order you do them. Don't just jump straight into sales and marketing. Go to the vision first. Think about your processes. Think about the plan. Think about what markets you're going to be doing in. Think about you as a leader and how you're going to support and develop your team, how you're going to get the team working together, and then that's the great thing to market. So thanks very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this, and please feel free to make your comments in the forum or reach out to us.